in the chat if you can. I think I can see Mike from San Jose. Yeah, there we go. Thankfully, it's just come up for me as well. It's been a day of gremlins, I must be honest. It's taken me around 3 or 4 attempts to get the live feed going. So I hope you can all hear me out there everywhere. And I can see you all in the chat now, which is fantastic. I have recorded something earlier on for us, and it's a number of sighting reports from across the world. So we've got some from the United Kingdom, Scotland, England and Wales and Ireland. I've got some from Canada and some from America that have happened on the Christmas period. So I will put those out in a minute, but I wanted to explain, hello Cars and Jason, Susie and Mike. I wanted to explain why I don't celebrate Christmas, because lots of people have said I'm a bit bar humbug. It's never been a big thing, Christmas, in my family. Even when I was young, it was just something we did in the morning with the kids, and then because we didn't go to church, we didn't have any religion or anything like that. So it's never been a massive time for me, but I know it is for other people. And normally on this time on a Christmas night, I'm usually sat on my own anyway, so I thought, well, hi Stu and Christian and Mark and Layla, thank you for all tuning in. I didn't expect any of you to give up time with your families to, you know, don't feel you have to be here, that's absolutely fine. It's just lovely to see you all tuning in. So yeah, we had, the grandchildren came over this morning, so we usually have a little bit of a do for them, but you know, they open the Christmas presents and everything. And then we have our lunch and we drop them off where they were going for the tea, and that's it. Right, that's our day normally done for Christmas. So they had a fantastic time, and we've had a lovely time. I had a snooze on the couch. And then I thought, right, well, what can we do? You know, there might be people sat around like me with nothing to do. Hello, Glenn and Damien, nothing to do. So let's have a live feed. So as I say, I will still be in the chat because I'll be able to hear you in the chat, and I'm just going to run the now I have more extra equipment, I can do more than one thing at once. And talking of equipment, if it's a little bit dark for you, I'm really sorry, but one of my lights exploded about 5 minutes before we were due to come on the air. This is Mark just bringing me my brew. So we've had a light problem, haven't we?
Small one.
A small one. And we've had a bit of a faux pas with YouTube. But now I think we're up and running now. Will you pull that door to from me, love? Thank you. So yeah, he'll go and watch his Christmas films because he likes his films, and I'll sit here with you guys. So as I say, very exciting, lots of exciting news coming up. We made the newspapers again. We were in the Norfolk newspaper again, and I had a little chat with them because they ran all the sighting reports and they didn't actually say where they'd gotten them from. So I messaged them and said, you know, could you just stick a link into BBR, because obviously we provided you with the sightings. So they have done that, and I will share it obviously with everyone. But if you're from the Norfolk area and you want to find it, just nip on Norfolk Online and you will find it. Now, Susie's country has been in our news every morning because of the heat wave. So how's it going over there, Susie? It's top news on my newspaper. I think you hit 107 the other day, 109, something like that. So I was thinking, if that's what it's like on the coast, what's it like in the interior? I imagine it's unbelievable. And for most of the UK, it's been a very warm day as well. No snow, no frost, no ice, quite pleasant. Oh, 44 degrees, I feel for you. Oh my goodness me. I don't think we've ever hit that, have we, guys, in the UK, 44 degrees. I think that's out of our, totally out of our range. Hello, Shane. But for me here today, it's, I think a nice spring day, in all honesty. So we haven't really had much of a winter yet, so I would imagine it's on the way. And I know we've had floods and lots of snow across the UK, but not for me up here. What's it been like for you, Stu? Because you're near the coast, aren't you? Has it been a bit blowy? That's me lemonade, by the way. Don't be thinking I'm having a tipple, because I'm teetotal, I don't drink. So Mark's brought me a lemonade and a lovely cup of tea.
Right, so let's show that what I'm going to do. You'll have to, I hope that you can hear these, you should be able to. Yeah, nice, isn't it? Nice and sunny with us as well. Nice, isn't it? Nice and sunny with us as well. 1 second, get rid of that. Now, I just have to nip over somewhere else. Won't be a sec. And I will play a video that I made for you earlier on in the year. It's funny you should mention Wharncliffe Woods. Luckily I can see the chat. Wharncliffe Woods has come up a number of times since I spoke to Paul about it. And that area, and there seems to be a little bit of a corridor. So I am going to put the report out again and add some added information. So if you could, is there any chance that you could go and take some images for me and I'll add them into the video that I'm going to make about it, because I've never been able to get there myself. I've only ever seen it on video and on my map. And cause as you're local, you get a much better ground truth. When I'm looking on Google Earth, that's great, but it only gives you one season of the year, that just one snapshot that's been taken in 5 years, and it doesn't give you very much ground truth. So if you or anybody else that's in that area would be prepared to go and take some photos for me at Wharncliffe, and I'll explain to people, Wharncliffe Woods, it's kind of a spooky area. It's on Fayland, so it's a lot of lays around that area, a lot of high energy. And it was a number of gentlemen, if I remember. I can't remember if it was 4 or 5. It was Jason's report. And they do what most of the lads do when they live on the edge of town like we do. They go out at night and then, you know, they have a few beers and they have a bit of a camp out. Oh, thanks, cause that'd be really helpful. And while this is going on, an arm protrudes out of a tree, grabs this guy by the leg, pulls him up, tips him upside down and shakes him like this and drops him to the floor. Now, he had a number of bruises around his calf, and you could see a kind of handprint where it had held him and let him go. And the arm just disappeared, and obviously they all scattered. Let me just pull my map up, if you don't mind. I'm just going to get my map up, because now I can use more than one computer. It's absolutely fabulous. I only have to voice speak on that one and voice speak on this one. And this one I'm going to set up for voice speaking. But it enables me to be able to do much better things. And I hope you're noticing a bit of a better audio. And you would have had better lighting if my other light hadn't have gone. But luckily we bought 2. We weren't silly. We made sure we got a backup. And I found a new way of bringing you just the small reports as well, so that I can zoom into an area, show you where the figure was stood, where the person was stood, and give you a much better understanding of what the area is like, which is something I've always wanted to be able to do. But unfortunately, I didn't have the tech to do it. So it's great me saying, oh, and it's great, and there's all these resources. But if you can't see it with your eyes, it's really hard to imagine, isn't it? So the idea of being able to get you onto Google Earth and say, right, this is where we're looking at, this is where the creature was, this is where the gent was when he came around the corner, I think it'll make you understand the reports a lot better. And it will also enable you to see, as you can see, when I work on my map, oh, can't see because of the glare, can you? That might be your best picture I can get. As I work on, my hand, oh, can't do that. As I work on that map, I can see what reports are around the area as I'm giving you the report. But I would like you to be able to see that as well, so that you can see these corridors or these lines of reports. And that's why I'm putting the Wharncliffe on one, because there are reports around that area. And I want to double check that I've got the right information as well. So because you can imagine, with 600 reports, I do get them mixed up every now and again, but no, that is the correct one. It's between Stocksbridge, where the Stocksbridge bypass is, and for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's an area where we get lots of reports of road walking ghosts or road walking creatures. And my own parents had an experience there. I think in the 80s, to be honest. They were driving down the road, and my dad was driving and my mum was in the passenger seat, and she said they'd been driving for a really long time. And you know when you get a bit a bit noddy like that. Something from the back seat shouted, "Look out!" And as she said, as they both kind of came round a little bit, there was, she described him as an old-fashioned sailor. So I would imagine she meant that he had like bell bottoms and things like that. Because she said to me, he just looked like an old-fashioned sailor walking down the road. And as they kind of came to, my dad jerked the wheel, it stopped him hitting another car. So it wasn't a kind of shock and awe thing. It was a kind of, wake up, you're about to have an accident. So whoever it was who was in the back probably saved my parents' life, in all honesty. And so it's always been an area of interest to me. And you get lots of reports of young children. And there's a very famous... there is a very famous case where a number of security guards were working at Stockbridge Bridge when they were doing work on it, and they had to get the police involved because there was something out there, never described by anyone, that was throwing things at the cabs and hitting the cabs, and they were seeing dark shapes moving about on the bypass, and 2 police officers came out, and they had paranormal activity, as they pegged it. So, Wharncliffe Woods is between, as I say, Stockbridge, where all of that's going on. You've got the Rotherham Bear. You've also got Eyeshine at Meadow Hall, which is very close. You've got a report of more than one Bigfoot. So there's 2, which is very, very rare where you get 2 seen. And that was Shane's report, who's in the chat, where he was building a rope swing. And there was one up in the tree and one across the stream. And then just 2 miles away again, you've got a very similar report of children playing in the woods at C1. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17 reports around Wharncliffe where this strange activity is happening. So I would love, as I say, for somebody to not only to get into the area and take some photographs for me, but try and have a feel. What does it feel like when you're there? And if you're any good at like dowsing, or you've got any if you've got any ghost equipment, everybody these days seems to have ghost hunting equipment. Well, it can be really handy if you're a researcher, because it would be interesting to know if there are any temperature changes in the area, any strange electrical magnetic activity. So use your EMF meter or something like that, or even the spirit box, or do an EVP. You never know. What we're dealing with could be energy. Well, that would be picked up by all of these things. So if you're a keen paranormal investigator and you have this stuff anyway, take it out with you and give it a try. You never know. You might be onto something. I've seen, I would imagine most of you know what a Wii is, a Nintendo Wii. And then it has this like bar, and my kids play it, and you can interact with the TV and everything. Well, a number of the paranormal researchers have been using them in their investigations, and what they will do is they will look for facial recognition, and they will try and map out a figure if you're there. So if you want to play the game, you stand in front of it and it maps you out in AR, and then it follows you around the room. Well, when it's been very useful at showing it will map out the investigator, and then there will be another figure, or there will be a number of other figures that this AR is trying to map out, but it can't do it because it's not a full-on true human. And I think if we could adapt that and use that in the field in cryptid, you know, research, I think it'd be amazing. Because if they are prismatic, and I use that word meaning that we can't see them because of this prismatic hair that shines, reflects back, basically. There's 2 ways of getting, well, there's 3 actually off the top of my head that I can think of. One would be I think it was Jay Weeks that shared it, and it was very clever, using a clear glass globe or a lens that fish bowls, because if it's prismatic, we should be able to cut through the prismatic by using that. The second one would be that thing that I spoke about, this thing that you have in the Wii, and I'm not really sure what it's called, but I will find out what the name of it is. If we could get it so it was small enough for somebody to carry and we could use it, it would show us on our phone and our monitor if there were other figures in that wood that we can't see with the naked eye. And the other way would be to photograph it in different light. So not only in our normal light, but in ultraviolet, and all of the range, in every spectrum of light, because certain energies show up under differing light sources. So use them. Use anything you can think of to try and get something on, on camera, and it might give us a clue. Another piece of advice I was given was about this eye shine. You know what, we get mention of like this yellow eye shine, and we get mention of red eye shine, and somebody went into depth and they said what each eye shine meant, and I'm sorry but I can't remember what they were now, but basically red was anger and keep away, and green was quite fine, blue was just normal, not a problem, and yellow was kind of a warning. But somebody said to me that they don't like green laser light, and that if you're worried or scared about going into the woods, carry a lot of people again use them for paranormal work. It's just a pen that's about so big, and you click it and you get like a paranormal grid. Well, that would scare something off that didn't like the green light, but it would also show any energy that travelled through that grid, and that's what they use it for in the paranormal investigate. Paranormal, I'm having one of them. I promise you that this is lemonade. The paranormal realm, because obviously like you guys, I watch a lot of paranormal programs and I see them use these, and I think, oh, that'd be really good for researching for us, because if we're going after it, something paradigmal or dimensional or even extraterrestrial, we should be able to pick it up using one of these devices, unless they've got technology that would eradicate all of that, and it won't matter anyway. We'll never get that picture. Susie, it's just like a green grid, isn't it? And if something passes through that grid, you kind of see it. And me grandson has one because he likes to play with it. He likes to play with a laser light. And obviously, if we go camping or anything like that and it's dark, it'll light up the field, so he really enjoys it. And it was that conversation when somebody said to me, oh, don't do that if there's any dogmen around, because they don't like that green light. It hurts their eyes, so it makes them quite angry. And I said, oh, well, I didn't know that. And they said, use it as a deterrent, basically. Because another, as I said last time on a previous live feed, if you're out and about and you're a bit worried, just take some Ralgex, that stuff that you put on your sore. You get that in your eyes and nothing's coming after you. I mean, anything lots there. I once said to someone, if you feel like, putting cake up a tree, do that. We've got to try anything that's outside the box. So along with tracking for prints, looking for strange structure finds, trying to find any strange thing about them, because we know so very little about them. What we know is a tiny drop in the ocean. And I often say to people, it's like saying to an alien that lands on the earth and him saying to you, tell me what a human being's like. We're so vast and varied and different, and we have different cultures, and we have different skin colours, and we have different facial, we have different DNA. It's so different that you can't give this one answer. Oh, a human being's like this. There's no answer for it. So to me, if you were trying to track a human being, you would think outside the box as well as in the box. So just try anything. I think at Wharncliffe, it's an area like Bempton where you've got strange energy. They wouldn't call it Fairyland if it didn't have strange energy. And what you've got to remember is areas that were important to us, like Stonehenge, or anywhere you find a standing stone, an ancient barrow, a stone ring, or even a cupping ring. If you find anything like that, that was important to us once. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on the ley. It'll be on one of the ley lines. And we must have worshipped there for a reason. Afterwards, when the Romans came and the Christians came and they built their churches and their priories, they built them on these ancient lands for a reason, because there was something spiritual about that land. And there's still pockets like that across the UK that we've forgotten about. The ancient henge here, so you've got an ancient burial mound, and then you've got a grass henge that goes around it that would have been where people came from miles around, because it was the highest area, and that's where you would have met and you would have gifted and you would have probably met your future wife, your future husband, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, that kind of thing, and then you all go about your way and carry on foraging. I think these ancient sites are very important. I don't know why, but I get pushed to them all the time. And I honestly believe in here, 100%, that we are supposed to revisit them. And we are supposed to gift at them. And as we do that, we bring these sites to life. Now, the problem with that is there'll be one or two different energies, won't there? Once you awaken a site. So don't just blunder in willy-nilly. The one that I'm working on at home, I'll tell you how I did it. You find your own way, because you'll find your own way, but this is what we did. We went, and basically we stayed a good 200 yards away, and there's a bench there. So I sat on the bench and I just said out loud, like, is it okay, you know, if we're here, if we come and we visit? Because it's where my husband had his experience. So it was the first time for him to go back, and it felt fine, and everything felt fine. So we just sat on the bench, and it was just a nice evening, and we watched the sun go down, and it was kind of just a really lovely place to be. And we've started kind of revisiting it like that. And I've took some apples down, and I've took some herbs down and things, more in the sense of it's just me and my nature. It makes me feel better. So I started sitting on the bench and grounding myself there, because it gives me the ability to get my feet on the floor and have a really good ground. And the energy's changed in the area. But anyone who talks to me privately in email or listens to the Patreon stuff will know that I've had a couple of really icky experiences there. But I've realised it's because I've kind of put myself in that position without thinking about it. And there was one time when we went, and I had this feeling not to go. And I completely ignored it, and I went anyway, and it was my own fault. And something screamed down me. Well, it wasn't a scream, it was a growl, like a snarling growl down my ear. And it was my own fault. I should have listened to the warning and not gone, but I didn't listen to the warning because I'm a bit of a know-it-all. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm waffling, aren't I? Ancient barrows, ley lines, anything that was special to us back then is well worth having a visit. Even if you're not a researcher, if you're just a member and you fancy going there, there's a map out there, and don't let the title put you off. It's called a megalithic portal map, and they use the word portal because they mean areas of high energy. So if you just look that up on Google, it'll come up for you, and it has every ancient site across the world. And it's a bit like our Bigfoot map. It has them pinged out, and you can click on them and it'll tell you all about the site itself. And it has all the ancient wells. I found 27 places on Cannock Chase alone that were ancient and important to us, other than the Castle Ring. So it must have been of massive importance for us to have all descended on that area at least twice a year, they think, for the summer and the winter solstices. And they were on foraging routes, so they were places that were used all the time. And I think they were used like not only churches, but like church halls. So it's like a gathering place, and that's kind of how I think of them in my head, like a gathering place. And I think we're supposed to do that again. And I also think that's why I've been pushed to do the meets, I'll be honest. And the areas that seem to stand out are the ones where you get the most cryptid reports, and the most UFO reports, the most paranormal reports, missing time, missing people. We'll pull some off the top of my head. Let's say Box Hill. Right, so we go to Box Hill, which is down Epping Way, that way. You've got cryptid reports, ape-like creatures, dog-like creatures. You've got paranormal reports. You've got missing females that have gone. One young lass got out of the car at the hill and was never seen again. No body, nothing like that. You get these strange deaths that are found where only single body parts are found, and they say, oh, there's no suspicious circumstances, or it's not in the public interest to put it's not in the public interest. That's what they stamp it as. It's not in the public interest, so you don't get to report on it anymore, and you can't find anything else out about it. So it's just one of those areas are everywhere. But what I've discovered is those areas are everywhere in the world. I mean, even if you think of America, you've got the Bennington Triangle, the Bridgewater Triangle. There's one in the Blue Mountains in Australia, where these strange reports come in, lots of plane crashes and things like that. Alaska, on I think it's on the Kenai, a similar area there. That's the triangle. I hope I've got that right. I think it's the Kenai Triangle. Oh, my friend, the wise old bitch, she's as drawn to Cannock as I am. I think lots of people are drawn to Cannock, I'll be honest with you. But I'm waffling on, and I shouldn't be waffling on, should I? I'm quite sure that I'm boring you all ridiculously. Has anybody got any questions for me? Anything you've ever wanted to ask me and never had the chance? Oh, my wheelchair is driving me mad today. Do you know, Kane, I'm going to be really, really honest with you. I see that as well. And I've seen it from being a small child. And at first, they used to terrify me. I've woke up and they've been there. I woke up, my bed's just here. And I've woke up and they've been here where the camera's been. Just stood looming over me in the bed. My husband said, one night when I had my casts on, because I had casts on for years and years and years on my legs, like plaster cast, I threw myself out of the bed to get away from whatever it was here in my face. And they used to terrify me as much as I always used to think it had something to do with what I'd seen as a kid. And it used to absolutely terrify me. And then I was talking to a Jen, many of you will have heard a report in the Pentland Hills in Scotland. And he was in a camp. He was camping with his friend. He was in one tent, his friend's in another tent. And he said they were just settling down for the night. And it was as if something pulled him out of his body up. And he said, and I was looking down at the campsite, and I could see my tent, I could see my mate's tent, and I saw this thing come out of the woods and go through the camp and walk down to a different set of woods. He said, but what was really terrifying about it was it kind of looked like an alien grey for a very split second, and then it turned to a bipedal, Bigfoot looking creature. He said, and when he, next thing he's back in his body like that. And as he comes to, you can hear his mate screaming in the tent, and he's screaming, what the fucking hell was that? What was that? What was that? So he had also seen this thing walk through the camp. And he said to me, stop cowering to him and stop feeding him, because every time you're frightened, you feed it. And I know that's really hard, Debbie, but you've got to stop it, and you've got to start meeting him like an equal. And you need to state your boundaries, and you need to state what you're prepared to put up with and what you're not prepared to put up with. And at the time when he said it, I thought, has he any idea how hard that is? It's just impossible, isn't it? It's just absolutely impossible. And then one night I woke up and it was there. And I wasn't frightened, I was really angry. And I was just sick and tired of it. Because at the time it could happen 2 and 3 times a night. Overnights. And the doctors would just say to me, it's just the pain meds that you're on, Debbie. It's the pain that's doing it. Because I have neuropathy pain. It's just your brain that's doing it. And it would feel like I had dogs biting at my feet and biting at my legs. I hated it, absolutely hated it. And one night I was so mad. I was so mad when it did it. And I just said, no, you don't do that to me again. You never do that to me again. You don't stand over me. You don't come near my bed without permission. And if you do, I will leash you like a family dog, and you will lie at the bottom of my feet like an Alsatian. And it stopped. And it stopped like that. And from that day, I'm not scared of anything. I can sit in the car now, in the complete black, in the middle of the woods, from going to the park to this last 2 weeks, I sit in the car like that now. And it's like, nothing can hurt me. I'm absolutely fine. Nothing can hurt me. And it's just really changed my attitude to things. And all the stuff that was frightening me at home, that was really, really scaring me, has kind of stopped. All that stopped. It's not happening anymore. And I think it's just because finally I just said, no, I'm done. You're not doing that to me anymore. I'm not prepared to put up with that. I used to say in the beginning, don't you scare me kids. Don't go near me kids or near me grandkids. I don't want the kids to see you. And that I was always just kind of fine with that. And it was like when I used to say, oh no, I'm just Bigfoot secretary. I'm nothing. I'm just Bigfoot secretary. I'm just the one who gets the messages out there. But I don't feel like that now. I feel like we're all as equal as each other, and they know that. But if you don't know it, they will take the Michael. And like us, some of them are incredibly positive, but some of them are not. Some of them are incredibly negative. And you haven't just got flesh and blood. Like, we're flesh and blood, but we have abilities that we can use, right? So you haven't just got that. You've got paradigms, you've got dimensions, you've got extraterrestrial, you've got all of this different energy that's going round, and it's looking for something. We're all looking for something. So a negative will look for a negative, and it will feed off that. And something positive will feed off something positive. So I think for me, because lots of people get in touch with me and say, Debbie, I'm seeing things around the bed, and somebody's told me it's a demon and I need to do this and I need to do that. Well, that's great if it's a demon, but what if it's from a paradigm? Sage does not work on anything paradigmal, doesn't work on anything from a dimension. It putting salt at your door, it won't matter. It won't stop those kind of things. It's like going into your area, it's your intent. It's what you're feeling here. So if you keep letting them scare you, because you are letting them scare you, because you're fearful of what would happen if you stood up to them, well, take it from me, when you stand up to them, it stops. But you've got to mean it, and like mean it 100%. And I don't want you to be as frightened as I was. I was at the stage where I just wouldn't sleep. It was just so much easier not to go to sleep than have to put up with it all. And that's how bad it was. It was awful. And you just send you to sleep clinics and stuff like that, and it does you absolutely no good. And they give you sleeping pills, it don't work. I hated that, because then I'd be completely comatose and couldn't do anything. It'd still be there anyway, and my eyes would be open. And I just, I've seen my dad, Susie, I'll be honest, since he's gone. And I've seen the dog. I've seen Leroy. I saw him this morning, actually, in the garden. And I just thought, oh, he's out and it's cold. And then I remembered we didn't have him anymore. And I was like, oh, he must have come for a visit because he liked his Christmas dinner. And that's what I said to Mark. I said, I think our Leroy's come back from wanting his Christmas dinner. I think some people, I think most people have the ability to see, hear, smell the same as me and the same as other people. But I shut it down in my teens, so I completely boxed myself off. I didn't want anything to do with it. The whole thought of it terrified me, because if he was real, what else was real? So I just shut it off. But as you get older and you get like in your 40s and your 50s, you just stop all that. You get a bit, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm sick and tired of being scared. So I'm just not going to do it anymore. So lots of people have been giving me advice about, this is what you need to do and that's what you need to do. And I've been thinking, well, that's great, but that only works on that. And that one only works on that. And then I thought, it's about me, innit? If I'm prepared to let them keep scaring me, then I'm always going to be scared. Simple as. So what's the worst that they can do? I've been this far, face to face with one. Face to face with one. And I think, nothing happened to me. So not being a big head, nothing's going to be scarier than that, is it? I mean, it might be. I don't know. But that's what my brain's telling me at the minute. I think you need to say, this is what I'm prepared to put up with, and I am not prepared to put up with anything else. And you will walk alongside me as an equal, or you will leave. And you're only allowed in this house if you're from the light and you're positive. And I've told a few people in the last couple of months that, and things are changing for them at home. And one of the hardest things to do is just to trust it, I think. Trust your gut and just go with it and say, no, I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm not prepared to. And I would imagine there's people like me, because when I got the advice, I thought, well, that's ridiculous. So if it was that easy, everyone would do that, wouldn't they? But there's a lot of psychology behind it, isn't there? It's like standing up to a bully. It's not easy. It's not something that you do with ease. I think I was just so worn down by it that I was just, no more. I'm not putting up with that. And then, as I said to a gent the other week, what would you do if it was a human that was doing that to you? You know, what would you do if it was a human that was coming into your room and scaring you And he said, I'd give it a good eye. And I said, we'll do that then. Just you stand up to it like that with that tempo, and you say to him, I'm not getting prepared to put up with that. That's not happening in this house. Get out of this house now. And he just said, they don't listen to you. Well, that means that you don't mind them being there. You're a bit like me. I'm okay with what I see, Suzanne. I would imagine you're okay with what you see. And I'm thinking about the ones just coming into it. The ones that are just realising that there's a hell of a lot more out there. And I know for me, everywhere I went, and I said, look, I'm seeing dark figures, I'm seeing flickering lights, I'm hearing things. Oh, it's a demon. Oh, it's a demon. You need to do this and you need to do that and you need to... And it didn't work. It just didn't work. And I think it's because there isn't just one kind of energy, is there? There's so many energies like this. You know, ever like a cobweb of, and I think that works on some energy, but I don't think it works on all. And I think there will be times when there'll be things that are more powerful than I am that I will struggle to control. But I'm ready to face that now, because I just think there's I wouldn't keep getting pointed in this direction, would I? I just wouldn't. So I would imagine he's protecting you. Yeah, I would, isn't he? He's probably there and he's protecting you. My mum said about 2 weeks after my dad went, she heard him get up, go downstairs, just go through his normal making his coffee routine. Because my dad used to get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He's a working man. So she'd hear him come downstairs, do his, make his brew, get his butties together and do whatever he was doing. And she said, it suddenly struck me that he'd passed, he wasn't here anymore. And she said, but that was your dad. And he went through his routine, and she keeps saying, I'm asking for a sign. She said about 17 signs up to now. But my mum's always been one of them that she denies her ability. So, like, it can't be real because of this and it can't be real because of this. But she's had so many signs, I don't really know what else to tell her, in all honesty. But even she laughs when I say, Mum, how many more signs do you need? He's clearly very happy where he is. Yeah, and my dad was like me, he never slept. He slept in the day, but he walked the floors at night because he had the same, like, demons, as he calls them, as I had. These horrible nightmares that you just can't get rid of. And I had them as a kid, and they used to just say I was naughty. And there was things that crawl out of my wall, or things that come down the ceiling, or they'd slither up the side of the bed. And I was only a toddler, I was only little. So when you're seeing and experiencing something like that, and you're trying to get your parents to understand it, and they just don't understand it because they're not seeing it, I kind of get it. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Oh, you're a darling. Mark's just made me a little sick. Yeah, so I was gonna, do you want me to put this video on? Do you want me to stop waffling and put the video on? Because as I say, I did make you some. I think it's about half an hour long. Or I can just keep going with what we're going with. That's what it was like for me, Amy, I'll be honest. It was, I think whatever this energy is, it can use your fears against you. So for me, it was never, because I didn't have any religion and I hadn't been taught any religion. I wouldn't even been able to say like a prayer or anything like that. It was just wouldn't have been able to do anything because I didn't have anything like that to kind of lean on and go back on. And it is like that. It's like you've got to summon everything you've got and more. And then you've got the aftermath. That feeling of being completely and utterly drained because you've used every bit of energy that you've got to fight it. Yeah, and people will say to me, why can't you meet us in cafes? Or why can't you come to shopping centres and meet us there? I can't do that much energy. I just can't. I pick up on people's energy all the time. And the thing that I do I just can't do it. I think Linda Robinson was one of the first people to meet me at Cannock, and I had a little wobble there for a minute, and she saw it and she said to me, take a deep breath. And I thought, oh, she thinks I'm nervous. And it's just, I get everybody's story at once, and it comes like, and especially if they start shaking my hand, then I've had it then. So I'm much better if I can keep my feet on the grass, you know, or on the dirt. As long as I got my feet on the dirt, I'm all right. I can just put it all, I can compartmentalise it and then just deal with each one at a time. You can't always say to people the things that you get for them, because not everybody's receptive of it. And that's one of the hard things that I find, is when I'm meeting someone, I'm getting all these messages and I don't know whether I can tell them or not. And in my head I'm saying, right, slow down. You need to slow down and just let me speak to them, and then I'll see if I can tell them. And it's like, do you know, like the old-fashioned switchboards where they'd plug you in and out? It was like, at first it was just, yeah, and then over the years I've kind of been able to line it up, so you just deal with one and then the next. And you can turn it off, you can just completely turn it off if you need to, but I've never been able to do that. I can dumb it right down, but I can't. I think once I just stopped, I just accepted what was happening. I just accepted everything that was happening, and I stopped questioning it, and I stopped explaining it away. And then when Mark started to see it and other people started to see it, I got that validation, so it didn't feel like I had to keep proving myself to anybody. And once you accept something, it ramps up a bit, and then you accept that, and then that ramps up a bit, and then you accept that, and it ramps up a bit more, and you just, I mean, I'm as confused as a lot of you out there about lots of things that are going on around me, and the weird synchronicities at play. And it's almost serendipitous. It's like I'm being moved on a chessboard, and I think other people feel like that. And that's why I keep saying, I don't think all of the encounters are accidental. I honestly believe that some people are being contacted for a reason, and it's something about them, and that's why the cryptids are interested in them, and they can pick up on them. Darren, I really, really do. I really think it's got a lot to do with it. And I know lots of people always want me to stay on the flesh and blood side, but that's not what I find all the time. I don't find. It's kind of like this a lot. There's this on the, Stu will know what I'm talking about, and Glenn. There's all this on the flesh and blood, and then there's all this evidence on the other side of things. So a long time ago, I just thought, until I sit down with one, until like I can get you to sit down and talk to them, everything's theory and everything's guesswork and everything's I don't know. Well, I'm just going to be dead honest and say I don't know, but I'm going to try this route and see if that takes me to an answer. And I'm going to try this route and see if that takes me to an answer. And I'm going to try that route and see if that route takes me to an answer. Because I think that's just how it works for me. And I've never settled on a complete, I am 100% that that's what it is. And I know there are people out there that will say to me, oh no, that's not on, Debbie. You're not being honest. Even with the things that I've seen and experienced, I still do not know 100% what they are. I used to think I did, but I was completely wrong. And there was a time when I thought they were all monsters, but they weren't. And then there was another time where I thought that they were all nurturing and guardian-like. But that's not true either. Like energy, they are all different. I think some of them, it's experiences that they've had that made them very negative. I think some of them are controlled by, I don't know what by, but I don't, that's the message I get, that not all of them are in control of what they do, that they are being controlled by something outside that's much stronger than them and far more powerful than them. and some of them are kept like a prisoner, almost like a slave. And when you're empathic, you can kind of pick up on that energy when you're in certain areas, and that's kind of what I get. It's a mishmash. It's a massive switchboard of clues, and I'm trying to pinpoint all these clues and work it out. And at the same time, it feels like something's trying to help me on one side, but on this side, something's dragging me back. Like today, it felt like I was not supposed to do this live feed because I didn't ever intend talking about the things that are going on at home doing this live feed. I had one set up, I had Christmas videos on it, and they sent it out at 4 o'clock this afternoon for some reason. I look on my thing and they've changed my timeline. So I resets it all up again, changed my timeline again. Resets it all up again, it does it again. Susie was with me for a bit while we were trying to get it worked out. Eventually we did. My light blew up. My brakes broke. My brake broke on me. Dodgy brake on my wheelchair. So my wheelchair's knackered on that side now. And it just seemed like everything was going against me to not like come on and talk, and that's probably why I've not put the video out. I will put the video out in a bit because I mean I'm not gonna keep you all forever waffling on it yet. What, darling?
It's banging.
No, sweetie. Oh no, it was me brake on me thing. No, sorry about that. It wasn't me. Forgot about that. That's my universal come and get me out of my chair noise when I bang on the floor to him. You probably thought I'd finished. Yeah, so I just think it seems like something's trying to stop me, and I think other people who have similar abilities will say the same thing. It feels like that for them, like something's trying to trip you up and stop you moving on in where you're going. It's trying to distract you and move you into a different area. And he's got to get no Stu. He's probably either watching Yippee-Ki-Yay, whatever that film is, or some other boy film, because he's been surrounded by the girls all day. The kids have been here, haven't they? So he's probably having some boy time to himself downstairs. But I mean, it's just that's maybe I was supposed to talk about what I'm talking about tonight, and that's why it's took us down that road. But I feel bad for the people that have tuned in because they wanted to listen to the sighting reports. But I will, when this one ends, I'll put that out straight away. So if if you've had enough and you're going to bed, don't worry about it. I think I will try and do as many meets as I can next year. I promise you. If I can do one a month, I'll do one a month. It would be nice. Like I know Stu's going to start out the northeast one for me, so I don't have to do that. And I keep saying it to people, if you want me to have a meet in your area and you can find us a cafe that's near the woods, if you could sort that out, that'd be fantastic. Because I'm only compass mentis for a couple of hours a day. Once I have them pain pills, I'm absolutely useless. And it's a lot of, like, it's not a lot of organising, but if you have to do it for, so, you know, do it in London, do it in Scotland, do it here, do it there, do it there, there's a lot of organising involved. And now we've got the care routine down pat between the car and the tent, I could do 1 or 2 days, like at the most probably about 24, 48 hours, which would enable me to get a bit further out than I did this year. But I'd love to see you guys meeting up without me, and I've said on a number of occasions, stick me on your iPhone when you're out there, you know, and I can still be there. But I would love to meet as many of you as I can. And then we've got the 2 conferences coming up, don't forget. Got my conference coming up in May, which I've got to be honest, we haven't hardly sold any tickets or anything, so that might be a bust. I don't know. I'm just hoping people haven't bought because it's near Christmas and they're going to buy after Christmas. I don't know. And then there's the February one in Hull, and then I'll definitely be in the northeast, and I'm going to try and get down London way if I can, just wherever I can in the country, and we'll kip over. And then we're going to try and get a van. That's the plan for this year, is to try and get, do you know what I mean? Like a, trying to think off the top of my head. Not a box van, like a tranny van. We get a tranny van and we can put a bed in it so that I can lie down. I can pull in and I can lie down somewhere till I'm feeling a bit, and then we can carry on with the journey. That'd be a lot more easier for us. So yeah, just bolt down a bed in it, and just use the camping gear in it, and carry the tent. So we're going to try and adapt a vehicle so that I can go further out and meet more people, because I feel compelled to do that, and that's what I want to do. Get like a mystery machine. Yeah, I would imagine. We'll have to have a load of spare parts, because me and Mark have not got a penny. Yeah, so I don't know where this van's coming from. I keep asking the universe for it. But I'm sure if that's what I'm meant to do, then that's what'll happen, innit? So, yeah, make the plan is what I'm thinking. So even if it's not next year, it's the year after. There is some secret stuff going on in the pipeline that I've not really been able to tell people about, because it is secret stuff. But there's talk of a couple of... How do I put it without giving the cat away? There's been ideas of TV, let's put it that way. There's been a couple of people that have reached out to me. Some that have got programs of their own and they're looking for new material. And others where they, you know, are kind of monsters and mysteries, that kind of thing. So there's been a bit of interest in that. So I'm hoping that's going to pay off for us, because that would make a massive difference. We'd be able to get everywhere then, wouldn't there? There'd be, we'd get new members coming in. We have now got, I am so proud of BBR this month. That was my Christmas present this month. We have members in Australia, France, Holland, Germany. Oh, I was absolutely made up that that map of BBR members is spreading out across the world. It's absolutely fantastic. So I have been, I do get mobility allowance, Noreen, and I have a car. I have my little Swift, which is great for like the Buxton meet or Todder, because I'm only in the car for 40 minutes, something like that. I struggle a lot with pain, and I've got degenerative bone disease all the way through my body, but really badly on my right hand side. So even travelling in the car could knock me sick for days on end. We went to Cannock for 4 hours, and I think we left about 6 p.m. and by 8 p.m. Mark had stopped the car. I was throwing up outside. My pain was that bad. So I think the idea is of being able to just, because we can't put the tent up in a light lay-by or at the service station. We had like a cot bed in the back of the van. I could nip in there. Mark could still, I'd only need like a bowl and things like that for my care needs. Mark could still be able to see to me. I could set my pain, like you can go and have a brew, you know, get 10 minutes away from me, and then carry the journey on in an hour or 2 hours or something like that. And it would enable me in small steps to get further and further out, because this time last year I wasn't moving off that bed. So it's small steps in it, just to see what I can do. So yeah, we'll find a way. We always find a way. We'll find a way, and that's what we'll do. There's been talk of a couple of, you know, can you do a book on this? Can you do, there's a field guide that people are working on at the moment. So they're going to be putting out what they think of credible structure and what we think is possible bushcraft. And it's just to kind of cut through the misinformation. So anybody new coming who's not a researcher and is interested in getting out there in the woods, but they're not really sure what to be looking for. And now there's so many videos on YouTube, I think people get a little bit confused. So we said, well, why not just ask credible researchers what they would class as credible structure and why they would class it as credible structure, and we'll put that in a book. And it was Paul Abel's idea, it wasn't my idea, and Paul's doing the work on it. But it would be along the lines of, if you think that this is incredibly important, then we'll put that in the book, and you can put in there what you think. And he's going to get in touch with people. I've been talking about the geomagnetic energy and the fact that when people say, you know, the demons, you can use this on them, you can use that on them. Well, you can't, can you? Because not everything that's coming through is a demon, or is this, or is that, or is other. So it might work for some things, but it doesn't work for everything. And I think with the cryptids, we don't know what works on them, do we? Because not all of them are in control of what they are doing. So we just keep pushing forward until we get some answers. That's the only way we can, you know, we can do it. And some people do believe that they are demons, and we have to accept that that's their opinion is just as important as mine. So, you know, we have to accept that some people believe that what we see in the wood is jinn, or a demon or a negative energy that is there to draw you in. And on some occasions it is. And we have to be honest and say it can be like that, unfortunately. We just have to be really careful when we're out there and trust your gut. And if you get that feeling of, ugh, yeah, listen to it. Don't do what I did and just blunder on in there, you know, regardless kind of thing. You're right, there is no right or wrong. Because if there was, we can hang our boots up, can't we, and just go home. Because it's all been sorted. I know everybody's got a strong opinion of what they believe. And I honestly think we've all got a piece of the answer. We have all got a piece of the answer. But you've got to come to it on your own. I can't walk your journey and you can't walk mine, no matter how much you want to, or how much you want to steer me this way or steer me that way. You might be steering me past a lesson that I need to learn. So I learned very early on, yeah, to take everybody's opinion into account, but to remember that not everybody thinks like I think. Everybody has a different opinion, don't they? And it's probably for a reason. In the same way where we say, well, why did I go through all those hard times? Why did I go through all that? That's, you know, well, you know, it's not fair. And then you think, well, look how you grew from it. You learned those lessons. If you hadn't had those hard times, you wouldn't have had those lessons and you wouldn't be the person that you are today. Being frankly honest, when I very first came out, I never spoke about anything other than flesh and blood, because I thought nobody's going to take me seriously. If I tell them the things I'm seeing at home and I explain the things that I've seen, they're not going to take me seriously. Because back then, it wasn't spoken about. If you were not down pat with a BRFO and you went completely down the it is an escaped ape angle, because even back then, they're just looking for a North American ape. And if, look at Tom Powell's, the second Tom Powell started saying, well, I'm noticing things that are not ape-like in any way. Well, we're not discussing that. It took years and years and years to us to get to this level where we can say, we don't know. Some people think they know, and other people probably do, and don't even put it out there in the world because it's a private thing between them and other people. So, can somebody stick my email up for me? Because I can't, my hands are, I can't do it, I can't type it in. Just debbiehatswell@gmail.com, all in lowercase letters. And if I click my voice on now, you'll just get a really bad echo. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind helping anyone. And as I say to people, if I can't help you and they haven't got the answer, I'll find someone that can. Because one thing I do know, I know so many people. And I could get you to chat with them. I'll get them to chat with you and see how you feel about it. Because I don't have the answer to everything. I really, really don't. But I'll do everything I can to try and help you. Because I know what it's like to be in that position. And I think, I'm 52 now, so I've reached that stage in my life where I don't care if people think I'm weird. It doesn't really matter, does it, what other people think about what I am. It only matters what I think about me and what my girls think about me. So I spent my entire life apologising for A, having seen something, and B, all the weird kind of things that go on around me. See, I still use the word like weird, like it's this negative thing. The activity that goes on around me, the fact that I can't wear a watch, the fact that I have to wear rubber shoes, the fact that I shock all of my friends and family. I can't shop in a supermarket without giving somebody a shock. I have to ground myself really completely day and night. If I put a watch on, it'll break. I have to wear copper all the time. I can't wear proper jewellery. You'll notice a lot of my jewellery is leather because I can't wear. I just get electric shocks on my hair stands on end and just have this weird electromagnetic thing going on. So I spent my entire life apologising for it. And now I'm an old git, as Stu's just said. Like, because I'm an old git, I'm not apologising for it. This weird stuff happens around me and I don't know how to explain it. And I don't know what the posh words are for it. But I'm just going to admit that that's kind of what it's been like for me. And I have seen things in the wood. I wish I could alliterate so much more. I have seen things that have left me in no doubt whatsoever that they are not just flesh and blood. And I would love to be able to just put that in front of you and show you myself, but it doesn't work like that, and I wish that it did, because each and every one of you has this journey to make, and you'll discover your own abilities and you will expand on them. And as you expand on them, you get stronger, you get more confident, you become the warrior that you were born to be, is a way that somebody put it to me. We have taken away people's power. You'll hear me say this a lot. In the early days, there was no such thing as gender. What you were good at was what you did. So if you were really, really good at hunting, you hunted. If you were really, really good at making clothes, then you made clothes. So we paid in to your skill set. So you spent most of your life being a confident human being because you were, you had this skill set and you used it. We've taken all that away. That's gone. And we've said to people, no, you got these gender roles now, so you have to do this and you have to do that. And we've got to the, I call it the lithium years, where we just basically, we get up, we go to work, we come home, we have our tea, we watch telly, we go to bed, and we do the same thing for the next 72 years. Sorry about that. You do the same thing over and over again, and it just, there's got to be more to it. They've got to keep you programmed in, aren't they? That's the way I see it. Like, keep you programmed into this thing, and every time you get distracted, they show you a new shiny thing so you don't get distracted anymore. And I did that until I was in my late 30s, and it was only when I had the accident, when I got kicked on my ass and I couldn't get off that bed, I had to start using my brain. And suddenly all the things that were important to me were not important anymore. Good night, Gran. Have a nice Christmas, and if I don't speak to you before, have a lovely New Year. And I just, there's something going on over there. There's something tapping in the cupboard, and I can hear it, and it's distracting me. Right. I'm just getting, so I've not got peripheral vision, and then I'll just, yeah. So I hope I'm not freaking you out with all this talk of the weird stuff that goes on in my home. But as Glenn will attest, when I first started talking to Glenn a few years ago now, I never told him what was going on because I wanted him to kind of experience things for himself. And I used to think, if I tell him what's going to happen next, it might freak him out. So I want to kind of to find it on his own. And you worked out yourself, didn't you? It was to do with the energy and to do with the Earth's energy. And if you want to see the energy on video, you need to look at GPE's video, because you caught it on one of your Green Man ones, didn't you? I don't know what number it is. And you see the energy form, become one, split into two, and off they go together. And it's one of the clearest. If I had to be able to say that's what I see, that's what I see, then that's what's in that video. And there's an old one from years ago, and Jason has it, Bigfoot Tony, and I think I've still got it actually. I've saved it, and you actually see this flash of. I set the scene for you. You've got a guy in Florida, so you got all the palmettos, and he steps into this area and stones start whizzing at him. So everybody's concentrating on this whizzing in the video. But what Jason will do is he'll does a grid search when he does his, he checks out every single piece of the video. So he suddenly notices that you see this flash of energy. It's like this bluey grey flash, and flash is the wrong word because it looked like a tear opened or something open, and you see the head come through, and it's as clear as day, but you've got to slow it down so much because it happens so quickly that you have to really slow it down. But you see the flash of energy, and then you see the face transform, and then you see it go back into the greenery again. And it was really strange because I was like, oh wow, absolutely wow. And I remember saying to him, that's what it's like, that's exactly what it's like. It's like this is the tree, and it's like this, they just emerge from the tree like they're part of it. And it's not like branches move out of the way. they emerge from the greenery, and that's the only time I have ever seen it on video. So I'll go back through my old messages, because they're still there, aren't they, your old Facebook messages. Might take me a while, but I'll go back and I'll see if I can find it, and I'll share it with you. And it's really interesting, because everybody's concentrating on this dark face in the grass that you can see, and these stones that are flying at this researcher, as if to say you need to move. But where the stones are kind of coming from is where everybody's attention's on. But up here in the peripheral vision, you see this flash, and you see a head come through the tree, and then it goes back in again like that. And it was shocking to see it. But obviously I've seen it on for other people, and there are videos out there, there are photographs out there. There's one from Angus, that a face photograph that I believe is better than the Patty image, but it's not mine and I can't share it. Charmaine has it, and she is in contact with the landowner, and it's the landowner's private photograph. So until that landowner says we can share it, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. It's absolutely fantastic. You see something in the wire of the tree, you see the face, complete face. And then Charmaine goes back to do a comparison image, because you need to be doing that, and she can't even get to the wire in the tree, let alone put her head. And it's this typical setup where the deer fences have been pushed over and rolled into a ball, and things have been snapped because these natural roots that they use have been cut off by the landowners because of shooting areas and things like that. So there are places where we've got them in the UK, because people say there's no evidence in the UK. There is. There's lots and lots and lots of evidence. But people are so worried more about everybody rushing to the area. It's not so much, I don't want to put it out there because I look stupid. It's, I'm not putting it out there because I'm trying to keep this area just for them. I'm trying to keep this relationship going, because for some people it's gone on for generation, and there's a lot of thought gone into that some people may see them because this agility, their ability runs through a generation kind of thing. And it might just be that they live in the same area and they just kind of coexist and they get along. I'm not really sure. Let me have a check. What I'm just trying to read here. I'm reading what Rick wrote, actually, because I'm trying to understand it, and I think I get it. The ley lines is like this genetic map that goes around the world. Cryptids can affect and use that energy to either move themselves forward or backwards. Am I right? Give us a thumbs up if I'm right. They can interact with that geomagnetic energy. Yeah? A lot of people, when they say, oh, I was in the woods and I get this really anxious feeling, it's awful. You're picking up on that energy. That's what you're picking up on, that geomagnetic energy. And some people class it as, I remember Laura down in Wolverhampton, and she used to say, I get this terrible anxiety when I walk in a certain area in the wood. I get this really bad anxiety. And I said to her, well, what you're picking up on is them. That's that feeling. And next time you're out, take note of that feeling, where it happens and where it doesn't happen. And if it happens when you're at home, that means they're around, that kind of thing. Well, there's lots of people can tune into that, but for me, it instantly turns to fear, because you recognise that, like when your adrenaline starts to pump and your stomach churns, it can be fear, can't it? Or it can be excitement, but depending on how you look at it, half glass, half empty. Some people say, oh, I felt really anxious and I couldn't get my breath. That's how it gets me. I couldn't get my breath and my stomach was churning. And I know that when that happens, that I'm not really welcome in that area, so I just don't bother. But these other times, when you feel incredibly welcome, a stool test, it's as if it's calling you, the area's calling you, and it wants you to go there. So I just stop questioning it, and I just do that. And more places have been positive for me than they've been negative. But I think a lot of people can, I don't think it's just the cryptids that can use that energy. I think there's people that can use that energy that are out there, and maybe they don't know. I'm not really sure how you do a super chat. Someone's asked me that before. I have absolutely no idea what you do. I'm gonna think I have a PayPal link. 1 second. But believe me, I am grateful for every single pound that comes in at the moment. Just trying to keep us online and keep pushing us forward. But I'm hoping, as I say, this year we've got so many new things going on. We've got so many new people joining. I'm hoping it's going to level itself out. And like me and Mark keep saying, we'll just keep it going. If we do another 6 more months, we'll do another 6 more months. We'll do another 6 more months. And we find a way, you know, we find a way. So if it's egg and chips, you know, for the next 6 months, we'll have egg and chips. I think there's a PayPal link here. One sec. But yeah, people say that to me all the time. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think they have to. People don't realise that I'm a bit of a scattercat when I'm. If I've had my meds, you've had it. You're not getting a normal conversation out of me. And it's sometimes when I'm in pain, I'm so distracted. I can't think straight, and I forget the link to this, and I forget the link to that. There we go. Found it. It is nice to be able to use more than one equipment now. It's making things so much easier for me. There we go, I think. Right, let me just read. So like an infrasound. That, yeah, I get what you mean, Rick. That some people call it zapped. And I know a number of people worldwide who have been zapped and it's knocked them really sick and their knees have gone from under them and they've had to take them away from the area. And then there are others who have complete and utter missing time. So they get zapped and they come to an hour and a half later. And for some of them, unfortunately, it's in a different area. I remember when it happened to Reality Ghost, probably about 15 years ago now. He was in an area where he was getting, it was way back in the day when people were just starting out with using EMF meters and things like that in their area. And obviously he was in America and he was way ahead of other people. And he realised that it was any equipment that he used would not work in this one triangular area of the woods. So if he put a cam up or anything like that, it just didn't work. Couldn't film in that area. So he managed to get a game cam a few 100 yards away from the area of the high energy, and you could see the energy coming at the gate. It was actually setting the game cam off. It was that bad. So one day he said, I know the wood like the back of my hand, and I'm there and I get it with this, knocks me sick, knocks me to my knees. And he comes to, and he's about 1.5 miles away and round the other side of the hill. And he said, I have no idea how I've transversed that difference. And he really scared him for a while. It knocked him off for about 18 months, and understandably so. I'm trying to think of, I have a friend, and a long time ago I used to do long-term radio and things like that, trying to find people. I don't know how I did it, but I stumbled into this Skype call, and there was quite a few of the greats. Henry May was on there, and Billy Green, and quite a few people. And he got me, this grandma from Lancashire, and I'm talking to him about Bigfoot and all that. We just ended up as really good friends, and we're chatting away. And this guy's called Hawk, and he lives in Ohio. So he's passed away now, unfortunately. But back then, he was a really keen researcher after an experience that he'd had. He knew that he had them on his land. And he oh, thank you. I am really, really grateful for that. You have no idea. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. I really, really appreciate that. All joking apart, I really appreciate that donation. Yeah, so he's in an area where he knows that they're there. And him and his wife look after abandoned wolves or wolves that have been harmed and injured in some way. So they're quite way out there where they live. And he's in his research area, and he suddenly realises that behind all this brush and scrub there's actually a cave. So he goes to go into the cave, and he said that it was like this, it was a mixture of a raw and a growl, but he felt it on the inside. And he said he went down on his knees, it knocked him sick. He said it was just like this shock and awe like the army do. And he had to crawl out of there on his hands and knees. And he said, unfortunately, after that, he never really recovered. He ended up with, I think it was cancer in his blood. I don't know what that's called, but he had to have consistent blood transfusions and his chest was really, really bad. And that's where he said he felt it. And he did pass away. Only probably 18 months, 2 years after it. And it always stuck with me, that, because I thought that must have been absolutely terrifying. He said he just fell to his knees and he had no coordination. He couldn't get himself back up. He couldn't stand up. He couldn't even crawl on all fours. And I've heard that so many times from other people. And I think it's infrasound. I think it's, they throw energy at you. And the other reason I think that is because there's also reports where people follow a noise or a voice into the woods and they never, sometimes they're chattering, they never catch it up. So it's like a ventriloquist throwing the voice to a different area. And you get reports of that and they end up lost or they end up disorientated. Isabella, most people will know in Scotland, she had a similar experience. It was after she'd had a jackrabbit left on her doorstep and it had a broken neck. And it had kind of frightened her a bit and she didn't understand the significance of why it had been left there, and she threw it into a field. And for a number of nights afterwards, the landowner was shooting at night, which doesn't normally happen on a shooting estate, in the dark in the woods. And it had gone on for a number of days, and she took the dog out and she said, I just got to this one bit in the wood and it was like I was hit with something. It knocked me sick. I was really dizzy, I was disorientated, my legs went from underneath me and I had to sit down. And she said, I honestly thought that my time was up and I was so frightened. All I could think about was getting my mobile phone out to phone my daughter to tell her to come and find me, because I was just worried that, you know, I was going to be found there. And she said it was that cognitive tuning into her phone that made it stop. And she still felt a bit queasy, but she managed to make it back home. So even the Wharncliffe one that we were talking about earlier on, where this arm comes out of the tree and it grabs the leg and it tips you upside down, I think most of the gentlemen that were there that night had some kind of infrasound, something that's knocked them sick on the inside. So you hear about it continuously over and over again. It's like I was going to say, it's like tuning in a radio. But if that radio had an electric shock, so that if you hit one frequency, you got a shock off the radio, it's kind of like that. So when you're open and you're tuning, without realising it as a human being, you're tuning into all of these frequencies and sounds. Some people can raise them and lower them at will, and other people don't even know it's happening. So you get this influx of energy and it knocks you sick, and you immediately put it down to the area and it's something spooked you. Look at old paranormal reports, you'll hear it over and over and over again. This feeling of being watched and this feeling of being shadowed by something unseen, and it knocks you sick and you have to be removed. What's the Cape? There's a famous cemetery in London, and I cannot remember the name of it at the moment, but they say that there's a vampire in it for that very reason. That there are certain areas within that cemetery where people get physically sick, where the legs go from underneath them and the stomach churns, and they're actually physically sick and they have to be taken out on the tours. Another area where that happens is the Drake Law Tunnels. And the Drake Law Tunnels are a World War II build, and they were built on an ancient barrow, so a burial ground. And from those tunnels disturbing the ancient burial ground, there have been reports of wolf-headed men by visitors, people in the army. Now it's a tourist attraction, you can walk around it, and one of the problems at Drake Law Tunnel is people see wolf-headed men and they experience these feelings of being sick, or this having to be removed from the area, to almost a panic attack, like I'm not sure what you'd call it, like a palpitation, that was the word I was looking for. So you've got this pumping
Highgate Cemetery. Thank you, Peter. That's it. Highgate Cemetery. That, I think that's infrasound. And I think a lot of our old and probably future paranormal reports are exactly this symptom, that you go into this area and you don't realise, but probably like Can It Chase, and you get this poof, this belt of energy that gets you. And the strongest I've ever felt it was Halloween this year, when I made the mistake of going to the pet cemetery, because I didn't know it was a pet cemetery. I knew it's just a country park, so there's no ancient site there. I don't know what's on the land before that, so I wasn't expecting anything. But this, yeah, when I drive on chase. So normally what we do is we get in the car if we're gonna go anywhere. Mark will say like left or right, and we'll get to the road, and I sit out right, left, and then we just end up going somewhere. We get drawn there, so when we're there, I'll have a feel of the area, see what it feels like. And like an idiot, as we were coming past St John's Church, I went like this, oh, and didn't take no notice of it, like an absolute plonk. I just went, like that, and I said, "Are we going to Blackleach?" And Mark went, "Yeah, I think so." And I still didn't say anything. And you see the video I put up of Beulah Park the other week, and it's completely black. Once you're off the main road, it's completely black. Well, Blackleach is about 3 times blacker than that. There's just no lights, and it's not great on the car, I'll be honest. It's potholes and everything to get in there, so it's not something we do a lot. But I still never said, I don't think we should go there. I don't know why I never said it. And as we didn't even get to park. As we turn the corner, and we're in complete and utter blackness, and we've probably not gone a metre, and this thing went like that, right down my ear. I was still in the car, right down my ear. All my hair stood, and it knocked me sick. Then I was screaming, "Get us out of here, get us out of here now." And I honestly did the journey home like this, because everything was spinning like I was drunk. I couldn't look up. I was really, really seasick. And I could see it, feel it, running at the back of the car. And it was so angry. It was so angry. And it was pounding the floor as it was going with its face like this. Pound, pound, pound. And we've still got to drive home. And I couldn't shake it. So I was doing all the things. When I do my protections, I think earth, wind, fire and water. It's like lava below, ice above. I put myself in this kind of thing of nature, and then I just start fighting. I couldn't do it. I was going home like this. I had to hold myself. It took me about 2 days to feel right again. It was like having vertigo. Every time I lifted my head off the bed, everything started to spin again, and my knees went from underneath me. And I knew it was that experience that had done it. I just couldn't work out how to shake it off, how to get it off me. And I did my normal thing. I stood up to it, and I tried all of that, and it was quite indignant with me. And it was as if to say, you had no right coming there. I warned you, and I warned you, and I warned you, and you still pushed your way in. And I think it was a very valuable lesson, because I won't ever make that mistake again. And we were out, I think it was last week. Yeah, I think it was last week. We didn't go to the Barrow. We were driving down the Barrow way. And we were absolutely fine. And Mark said to me, "Are you in pain?" And I said, "I am a bit, love." And he went, "Do you want me to pull in a minute?" So I said, "Yeah, just pull in a minute while I get my breath." And for some reason, he turned into the church garden. I was so angry. I don't know. I was like, "I don't want to stop here." And he went, "Why?" And I went, "I don't know. I just don't want to stop here." I was so angry. And he drove about 100 yards, and I was absolutely fine. And he went, "What was all that about?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea." And it was the same kind of feeling. It was like, "No, you're not welcome, so don't bother coming in." And it was really, really stern, and it melted. But I listened to this time. I was like, "No, I really need to start listening to me gut." People are probably wondering why you've asked me that, Rick. Yes and no. Sometimes when I'm asleep or when I relax, I get poems and writing, and I'll wake up and I'm writing it down.
but it can happen when I relax right down. So it was Yule. So we'd had a fire out the back. I'm sat in the back on my wheelchair. So obviously I stink of fire, I stink of stuff and everything. So I said to Matt, will you sort of take me upstairs and get me in the bath? So he gets me in the bath. I was really, really relaxed. And the next thing, I'm writing on the back of a perfume bottle when I come to. Sat in the bath's gone cold, and I wrote this long list, this poem out. And anyone who knows me on Facebook, it's up there. I've already put it up there. And it's just basically, I've been writing since that day. It's just been coming in floods and floods and floods and floods. And I don't really, because it's so private to me, I find it really hard to speak about. It's like speaking about someone behind the back, and I don't like doing it. I feel, you can tell I'm a bit, I don't like talking about him behind my back and behind his back, that kind of thing. That relationship that I have, it's personal. It's between me and him, innit? And but yeah, he is around at the moment, but he's not around in his physical sense. To go somewhere, I don't know what happens at this time of year, but everything kind of comes to a, yeah. So yes, he is around, but he's not around. But when I went to the barrow, and I don't mind speaking about this, not not at Blackleach where I got chased away, the barrow where Mark had his alien sighting. While you're on, I might as well fill you in on that one, haven't I? So he's 19, he's on a barrow, he sees this, they just have missing time. They remember being at the yew tree, the next thing they wake up on top of this barrow, and they're all head to head in a cross. And he said, well, as we wake up, there's a light above us. And I always get the movement wrong. It either went from the left to the right or the light to the left, and then it shot off to Winter Hill. So I traced one of the lads that was with him. And he said he was more than happy to give me an interview, and that's what he did. And he said that some of the regulars will have heard this tale already. Confirms everything that Mark said, and he's the one that watches the skies day and night. So he's got some really decent images of craft. While I'm interviewing him, my phone's going on the bed. I can see it lighting up on the bed. I couldn't work out why, and I thought, oh, it's kicking off somewhere, probably in one of the groups. And when I look, it's people from round here saying, there's a light in the sky. Look out your window, there's a light in the sky. Well, I couldn't, because I was interviewing somebody, so I couldn't do it. So by the time I got off, people sending me this news report that's gone up on Salford Online, and it's saying that people are phoning in and reporting that there's strange lights above their houses in Little Alton and Mossley Common. And it's absolutely nothing. It's just a PlayStation, and, you know, you don't need to worry about it or anything like that. So, serendipity at play. I go to Alder. And when I first moved around here, in probably, I think it was 96, one of the lads that I knew said to me, do you ever remember that night when everyone came out on the bottom field and it was all on lights? And I said, no, not really. This is a conversation I've had like 22 years ago. And I'm like, no, I don't really remember anything about it. What happened? And he said, oh, it was all these weird lights over the field, back at where the mine is, over there. And we all came out on the field, he said, and it was really weird because everybody remembers everybody else being there, but no one's ever really talked about it on the estate. And I just kind of felt that way. It never popped in my head. So, because I'm doing all this work on UFOs and things like that, I seen him and I was at Aldi, so I said to him, hey, Ellen, do you remember back years ago when you told me about the strange light on the field? And he went, yeah, of course I do. He went, it was on Griffin Lane. So I said, is that where it was? And he went, why are you asking me who was there? And I was like, I wasn't. And he went, yeah, you was. You was with me. And I said, I didn't live here then. I was still in Salford then. I was like, I didn't move up here till 96. And he was like, I'm telling you, you was with me. And I was like, but I wasn't here. I didn't live around here then. You know, I only moved around here in 96. And he's absolutely convinced that I was there. And the strange thing about it was that one shot off over Winter Hill. So then I found another guy called Steve. Similar report, coming from that barrow again, over Tilsley and off to Winter Hill. So if you can imagine where, if say I'm Eric, down directly south as the crow flies is Jodrell Bank. And I'm kind of, if you went from Jodrell Bank to Winter Hill, I'm under that flight path. So the idea that I am talking about it online while there's lights above my house, and then someone saying to me, oh no, you were there, you were definitely there, I remember you being there, I'm absolutely puzzled. So I just thought, well, I'll just run with it and see how it goes. So that's what I've done. No, I wasn't there. No, they'd separate incidents. The incident that happened with Mark would have been 91, 92. The incident that happened with Alan would have been in the late 80s, so probably 87, 88. I was probably only 20, 21 then. I was still in Salford in the flats. I didn't move up to Little Holt until 96. So these like 3 separate events that all took place that have nothing to do with me. But Alan is convinced that I was there in the one in the late 80s. That I was stood on the field with him in the late 80s. And I wasn't stood on the field with him. No, that's not strange by my standards. But it's strange because you warned me months ago that I'd get pushed to the Anuka. And you said to me, you know, it's going to start, Debbie. You're going to start getting pushed in that direction. And that's kind of what people are saying to me. So I thought, well, I've took that on board. And then I'll just see where it goes. And it was really strange because we went to Todmorden, UFO meet, December, probably first week of December. And as you know, I was a bit down at the time because that's the anniversary of my dad going in it. So I had Kevin, so we decided to go to Todder, up to the meet at Todder. So we went up to the meet at Todder, and it was, let me get his name right. I do apologise if I get it wrong. It was David Clayton, and he has written a number of books on the reports that happened at Jodrell Bank on Winter Hill. So he's interviewed a number of witnesses between there and here, where I live, and Winter Hill, who have seen not only craft and light, but also seen a light that came directly down onto Jodrell Bank. So it kind of, like you beam me up, Scotty kind of beaming down directly onto Jodrell Bank. So if you'd have asked me 20 years ago if I'd have ever looked down the alien line, I'd have said completely no. But things seem to be a bit different. So I'm not daft to think that these things are completely separate, because they can't be, can they? Or they wouldn't be weaving together the way they weave. Most of the witnesses, when you speak to them, have either had a paranormal encounter or an encounter with extraterrestrials or some other strange event in their life, like missing time, just strange, weird events that happen around people. So that just that's always there. And a lot of them will say, yeah, I've had interactions with UFO. And when I started looking at, I'm like for patterns, I started looking at the witnesses of cryptid, the witnesses that had seen UFO and also been abducted by UFO, and people in the paranormal realm, genre, whatever word you want to use. And there was a number of significant things that happens to all of them. And I'm not saying they've all happened to me, but some of them have happened to me. This thing with owls, I don't understand it. And I need somebody who understands about extraterrestrials to explain to me what the significance of owls is. Because people who have seen UFO have interactions or strange events happen to do with owls, and they tend to see them. Once you see them everywhere, all over the place. A lot of the researchers and witnesses talk about owls and strange owl calls. People in the paranormal realm will say that they start to see owls and significant of owls and signs of owls and things like that around the house. These fizzling lights that people talk about, this kind of energy of light that fizzles in and fizzles out. What are the other ones? Pain's taking over in a minute. I can't get my thoughts together. Yeah, these periods of paralysis within the bed where you wake up and you can't get yourself up and you can't catch your breath and it feels like something's smothering you. All of those genres have that running through them. The birds hitting your window for no reason. I've had that forever, where birds just randomly hit my windows, and people think I'm quite silly because I have lots of things stuck in the windows, and it's to stop it so they reflect so the birds don't keep coming into my windows. And honestly, I just thought it was where I was live because we live so high up in the flat. And then when we moved here, when the girls were little, I thought it's pointing south and it's probably a bit of a glare on the glass and they're not seeing it, and that's why they're hitting it. But now we've got the woods, there's no sun out the back, and it still happens, and it's really, really strange, and it's just one of them things that seems to happen. But obviously you mention it to people and they go, well, yeah, that kind of happens at our house. That's been a, kind of continuous thing for us as well. There was another one that I needed to mention. I'm trying to bloody think of it in a minute because I'm so distracted. Yeah, Jason just twigged me. Memory. So they replace your memory with owl experience. Right, so instead of seeing the cryptid or the spirit or the ET, you see an owl instead. So you see the owl face. Right, that makes sense. Almost shape-shifting in a way. So that it can appear in a way that you would accept them. Yeah, that's kind of... is a possibility, right? Let's talk in theory now. Let's just show it out of... is all of this energy all leading to the same place, and we see it as we would accept it? So some people see a Victorian schoolgirl, some people like me see an ape-like creature, other people see a thing. Is it all showing itself as how you would accept it, or are there multiple beings and we're all having experiences of different ones? I've never heard of that, to use garlic near your bed for... luckily, I've never had the sleep paralysis, because sleep's not something I enjoy. I've had, even when they've been right to my face, I can move and I can scream and I can shout. And one of the problems we have is I fight. Sometimes, as I say, the doctor's telling me it's the pain, but I will wake up and I'm mid-fight. I'm like full-on fighting with someone. And the times when I've hit Mark and I've been so upset the day after, because I'd never hit him for £1 million, but it's just my body reacting. I don't know what it's reacting to. But I can imagine what that's like. That must be like, it must be so terrifying, to... I've spoken to people. Rick asked me about the relaxation sessions. I haven't done any on me yet. And I haven't taken anybody out of the comfort zone yet. And that's simply because I'm new to it. And everybody's giving me advice on what to do. And you do it this way and you do it that way. And the teacher does it this way and that teacher does it that way. And you know what I'm like? I find my own way. And I've found that if I can relax people down, just send them a quick video of my voice and it's just a 10-minute thing and it relaxes them down at night. If I can get them to do that, like 10, 15 days, I can talk to them on Skype and I can get them to a level where they completely relax and they start to open up and they're telling me things. So that seems to be working. So that's the way I'm going to go with it. But I don't want to push anybody into a place that they're not comfortable with. So I'm leaving it in the hands of each individual. So as we start each session, I say, right, this is where we got to last time, and then we're at this point. So you take me as far as you want me to go, and the hope is that I can get them to the sighting. We can talk through the sighting, leave the fear away. So it's like you're watching it on a video play. You're not really there, you're just viewing it. So we get them past that, and then we can start asking about things before the event. So I would imagine that there are going to be events that they don't have any memory of that are going to come forward at that point. And once I've got them comfortable with that, we'll take them back further. And we'll take them back to their earliest memory. And if they're comfortable and confident at that point, then I'll try and take them back further still. The trick is, I've found, is giving them the ability to bring themselves out at any point. A lot of people, hypnotherapy is the wrong word to use, because people instantly think of the hocus pocus stage hypnotherapist. What you're doing really is getting a person to a completely relaxed state, as if if you're a runner and you hear your headphones and you get yourself into that zone and that's your relaxed period, then we get them feeling like that. And then I just ask them general questions about themselves and how they feel. And then I say to them that you are completely in charge of this. So you can't, somebody can't be trapped in this hypnosis. You can't put somebody in a trance and then that's it. They're there forever and you can make them rob banks and all that. It's absolute hocus pocus. You can just bring yourself out of it. Like, you can bring yourself out of a relaxed period at home or a doze in the afternoon. It's kind of that kind of feeling. So you're relaxing them down to that dozy mid-sleep, and then you start to talk to them, and really they lead the session with where they go. And another myth, people can lie under hypnosis. So a lot of people that I've worked with have said, I'm really, really worried I'm going to tell you something that you won't disclose your darkest, deepest secrets, because you really are in control. Your conscious mind is still there, but all we're doing is we're bringing your subconscious forward, so it's easier for you to access those memories. Yeah, I would imagine so, but even if the memory has been cleaned or wiped, we should still be able to find a patch where there's nothing. So take me back to a time in your life where you can't remember anything, right? What happened before that event? What happened after that event? And probably normal conversation, they wouldn't be able to remember. But if we can get them in the relaxed, the vibration that I need to get them on, then we've had a little bit of success with people coming forward and saying, I don't actually remember that event, but now I've told you about it. It makes complete sense to me. And I'm also discovering that people, things that they are terrified as an adult and have no understanding of why, when you take them right back to that relaxed state, they can tell you instantly why they're scared of it, because they remember an event when they were 3 or 4 and that's when they got scared. A strange one come out for me. I've always had an interest in Native Americans, and I don't know why, but I've always been really, 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 really interested in them. And they've never scared me in any way, shape or form. And I was talking to my mum, and my mum said, when you was a little girl, you were absolutely terrified of them. And I said, was I? And she said, oh, God, absolutely terrified. She said there used to be a programme on the telly. I'm going to have to try and remember the name of it. I think it was called How. And it was like a panel of child experts, and they would do like experiments and tell you useful stuff. I would imagine Rick and Stu and a few of the guys will know it. And at the beginning, that's how he does it. I have no memory of that whatsoever. So do the relaxations, and I remember running behind the couch and hiding behind the couch in the front room until it had gone off, because I loved the program, but I didn't like the guy going, and I still don't know why I don't go. But I instantly told it to my mum, and she went, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was every time he come on and he did that noise, you used to be absolutely terrified, and you'd run and hide behind the couch. So those memories must still be in our minds, locked in there, away somewhere. And I think it might be technique, but I think that's the wrong word, Rick. I think it's about trust. I think that's why I do that. You listen to this 10-minute thing of me until you feel that you can trust me enough that we can start the sessions. Because, as I say, there's all that misnomer in it. People think that they can tell you, like, all the deepest secrets, and they think that you can pull things out of them that, they wouldn't want to share with you, and they think that you can trap them in the hypnosis, or you can make this suggestion that, every time you ring a bell, you're going to stand up and make a complete fool of yourself. That's not possible, because you are always in control of the situation. Some people are more susceptible and go into relaxation quickly, and other people have that doubt at the front of their mind, so it's very hard to put them under. So until you can get them to relax down enough in whatever way you can, and sometimes it can just be the repetition of hearing the voice. So if my voice as I talk can lower your energy,
and bring you down. And that's what I do. And I just talk like that until we get them in a completely relaxed state. And then I say, can you tell me about an event in your life that is very prominent? And a lot of people go back to early birthday parties and things like that. It's normally a very early emotion, that like happiness or upset. Or first time they felt jealous, first time they felt anger. Because as a child, it resonates in your brain. So you can get them to that point, and then they trust you with that one incident, and then it kind of starts to open up. But I don't think it's going to be as quick as I thought. I don't think I'm going to do this course. I think it's going to be a gradual thing as we go through, and it's getting people prepared. Let me just have a read what Lotsy wrote. I don't know what you mean, Lotsy. Who said it angrily? Good night, Danny. Have a good night. I'm just bowled over that so many people have joined in. I'm probably, when we get to 10, I'm probably going to go and take my pain meds and get myself in a book. Get myself in bed and chill down a bit. I'll have a read through the chat tomorrow. That's what I do. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm going to work on this year is just trying to get people to that stage where they kind of trust you enough. And there's lots and lots of people that want to do it. And they've said, so you got to kind of put them in a queue kind of thing. I don't know how Simon's going with this. I've not had a chance to catch up with him and ask him. But for me, it's just become an ever-evolving thing. So I'm still doing the lesson, so I don't drop any major, bullocks. And you make sure that everything's covered. But I think you've got to get your own technique. Yeah, it's empowerment. It kind of feels like empowerment. It's like giving people back that not fearing the fear. It's all about not fearing the fear, isn't it? And then once you can get them to a stage where they're more open-minded and looking at things in a different way, and you've kind of opened them up to that, then I think the information is easier to go in. I think if you try and bombard them with it in the very, very beginning, you're wasting your time. I don't do that with anyone, me, because the minute you start telling them what they need to do, or they need to this, and you need to do that, and they just shut down. People just shut down because it's not flowing like has to flow, doesn't it? So yeah, but a lot of stuff I've been doing on that. And there's a lot going on at home, I'll be honest. There's an awful lot going on at home at the minute. So, because, I've got elderly parents, and Mark's got elderly parents. Oh, 1 second. Ow. Oh, crikey. I can't get it. I haven't got my grabber, so I can't get what I need. And I don't want to shout Mark and make him come all the way up the stairs. Yeah, there you are, but go 1 sec. I'm having to do a 3-point turn in my chair. No, still can't do it. Try that one. There we go. Ah, got it. Oh, I'm trying to get my remote so I can turn it off. Right, there we go.
Bring it on.
Yeah, please. I'm gonna stop in a minute. Will you bring us my pills up and I'll have them at 10?
Yeah.
Ciao, darling. So, yeah, let me just check the chat. Yeah, I do need big Years ago, Glenn, I had the one that Mark had to push, so, and it used to drive me mad because you have no control over where you're going. The wheelchair's one of the reasons my hands are knackered. Years of wheeling myself places or using sticks to get places. But my other one, you've no independence. You can't go anywhere unless he's there to push you. So, and I find that when I'm in a wheelchair where other people control it, and I don't think people realise that they're doing it, but they talk over the top of me head like there's something wrong with me. So if you're kind of in control of your wheelchair, it's a bit less like that. But there's been times when, say, I'll go shopping. I was once with my daughter, and I had my cast on my arm, and I still had my cast on my leg, and I'm trying to look for something. It's summer, it's really hot, and you're stuck in this flipping chair, you know what I mean? So you can't do anything. So my daughter texted me to this dress shop, and she, right over the top of my head, she went, "Does she like blue?"
And I said, hey, it's my legs, it's something wrong with my legs, not up here. So I was determined that I'd get a good wheelchair. So I did get a good, but I've had it that long, it's falling apart now. Mark's had to redo the sides for me. He's had to redo all the, you know, the cushioning. He's done all that for me. The brake's knackered today. I broke my brake on it. And my wheels are not great, but they do your wheels for you. But everything else, no, I'll have to just buy another wheelchair because they don't like. People just think, I think they think that they give them you at the hospital, but they don't. You have to buy your own. But yeah, it drives me mad. I'm in this little bit of a space at the minute, but it enables me to be able to get to all my tech without, because I can't keep getting up and down. But he set it up for me, I'll be honest, so that I can sit on my bed there and still access everything. So even when I can't get out of my bed into my chair, I can still do what I need to do to distract myself. So he's got a good little setup going for me. He's great. Oh, I'm having a rage. Let me have a rage. Oh, I did hear that. It was quite sadly. There's somebody else passed away as well this week in the Bigfoot world. Was it Trapper from Mountain Monsters as well? I think he went. And Brenton Soyan passed away last month, I think. It's been... and Tim Fasano. It's been... last couple of months, it's been quite a bad time for people, hasn't it? Hello, Constance. Oh. Do you know, it can be incredibly hard when someone passes on, as we all know, right? We all know, don't we? But if you can accept that this is just the packet that you're in, and the way I always describe it to the kids is, you can be anything you want when you pass on. We're all energy, so you can decide what you want to be when you go to the other side, can't you? I remember being torn with my dad, because selfishly, I didn't want him to go. But then on the other hand, I could see what that illness was doing to him and the pain that he was in. And by the time we got to the end, it was okay to let him go, because he just didn't want him to suffer anymore, and it was awful. And I don't know how I got through that year. I thought that grief had set me under at one point, but it, in a way, it did make me stronger. It's made me a lot stronger, because I was talking to Giles about it the other week. It's as if when one of your parents goes, no matter how old you are, you suddenly become more of an adult, because you have to be, don't you? Even though I'm in my 50s, I've always had my mum and dad. And but it's made me appreciate my mum a lot more, because I've only got my mum now. Do you get what I mean? So grief's awful. It takes you down this, it's not a straight road. It takes you down this winding thing. But I think you can come out the other side of it, and you can start to find positives in it. I got a lot of answers off my dad at the end when he was going, and I realised that he was just human, really, and humans make mistakes, don't they? And he was just having that ability to realise that he's no different to you, Deborah. He's just a human being, and we all make mistakes. And yeah, Trapper, I thought that was really sad. I absolutely loved that programme, but I know he's been ill for quite some time, hasn't he? I have a few friends who speak to him on a personal level, and I think he's been ill for quite some time now. Well, if you ever need me, Constance, then you just email me, because I might not be there in that day or in that minute, but I will get back to you, I promise, because believe me, I know what it's like. It's one of the reasons I don't celebrate Christmas as well, because most of the most important people in my life I've lost at this time of year, so it's never really been a big thing for me. But I do don't get me wrong, I love seeing the grandkids. I mean, Dane was up at 8 o'clock this morning. I don't think my daughter was overjoyed at that one. You know, so everything's unwrapped, and he wants to get to Nanny's then as quick as he can to see if Santa's come to Nanny's. So I was cruel. I did phone him up and say, he's not been, son. There's nothing in the living room. With my husband cracking himself laughing behind the door. And he's like, Nan, I'll come over and check. And I was like, Zane, I'm really sorry, mate, but he's just not been. Yeah, but I mean, obviously he had been. But that's the kind of Nan I am, I think. So yeah, it's been Nerf guns all day, and, you know, boy toys and pie face, and I think everybody's got pie face, haven't they? But it's been a really nice day. And then Mark dropped them off at their other grandparents, because they were having the tea there. And then I fell asleep on the couch for a bit, watching don't even know what I was watching when I first came on the couch, to be honest. And then Mark said, you need to wake up, you've got a live feed. And then it all went mad with YouTube. I don't know what went on there. I know it's happened to other people, because when I went on the forum to check what I'd found out, lots of people were saying, why's my timeline changed? Why's my timeline changed? I'd suddenly been put to the Pacific Southwest. So I was about 4 or 5 hours in front of GMT. And then the second time, I was New York time. And I can't remember what the third one was, but it put us at 7 o'clock next morning, didn't it, Susan? So it was well off. So I had to keep coming out and resetting the timeline on it, just so that I could get the live feed to go. And about 5 minutes before, one of my light bulbs went, and that blew. And that happens all the time. So we always have a backup, but I've run out of my backup, so I'll get that sorted this week. And then it should be a lot better lighting system. But I mean, it is getting better. I'm a font of information. Do you know, if you ask me anything outside these subjects, I don't know anything. Like, the kids will say, I don't know who Jay-Z is. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I'm one of those, like a crazy professor that just zones in onto one thing. And outside of that, I'm absolutely useless. And love's forever. That's basically what we're made of, is love. You can fight anything with love. You remember that. If anything scares you, or anything hurts you, or anything upsets you, you can fight anything with love. You just throw enough love at it, and you'll be able to change it, I promise you. Oh, 5. Imagine having to get up at 5 o'clock. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, I don't think our Jodie'd have gone for that. Back in the day when I used to work, because obviously I was a single mum before I met Mark. So, and I was a cook. So back in the day, before I worked, my kids would wake up for Christmas morning, and I'd say, oh, just let me have a cup of tea. Just let me have a cup of tea first before you go downstairs. Thanks, darling. Oh, you're a sweetheart. I'm giving them a wave. There's loads of them on there now. Yeah, so yeah, I used to say, oh, just give me, no, I don't think Vic Cunliffe's passed away, has he? Oh, I hope not. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. I hope you have a lovely Christmas as well. What shirt did you have? And I didn't even notice. The man, he's one of them, Pete. He walks around and he's always cold. And he says, oh, freezing. I say, well, you got a summer t-shirt on, put some on. I'm free. Can we put the heating on? No, put a jumper on. You've got a t-shirt on. Why are you walking around in just a t-shirt and then moaning that you're cold? Put a jumper on. He says I'm the tightest person in the world. But, like, I've got a jumper on. Yeah, but he does it all the time. But, no, he's been trying to think of a way of getting me further and further out so, like, I can do a visit to Bollum. Because I really want to get up to Bollum Lake and have a look around up there. Scotland. I'd love to get down on that Lee Valley and Epping Forest area down that end and get my feet on the ground and have a thing. And if I could, I'd go to every flipping sighting area in the UK. And Glenn said, didn't you, that if I come near you, you'll film them. So I'd love to get down there, down near Shiftel, down that area, and film at the sites, so I can say to you, this is where the person. And some of them have said to me, I don't mind, meet you there, Debbie, and I'll talk about it. So there's a lot of the witnesses who, anything like that, Noreen, that'd probably be ideal. They said, like, if you come up to the area, I'll meet you there, and you can film me there, and I'll talk about the event while I'm there, and I can show you, this is where I was when I saw it, you know, this is the area that it went, this is how high it was. So we can do a full reconstruction in the area. So Mark's idea last year was, I couldn't travel at all, was, right, well, we'll just take you 10 minutes out, and then you can have a breathe on, we'll take you back, and we'll take you 15 minutes out. We just basically built up on that. So we were able to get to Cannock, which was lovely, and I stayed over the night because I was absolutely dead, and the next day the pain was that bad I was throwing up. He had to take me home, so I just lay down in the back of the car while he drove us home. So having a van, it'd be nice. It would mean I could just, like, get myself to a level where we can travel again, and then we'll keep going, and just basically try and get around as much as the country as we can, really, and just meet up with everybody, because them meets have been, for me, they've been absolutely amazing, because I've been able to meet people off, like, you know, people who are talked to online but you don't know them in real life. So you get to meet them, and you find that you've got so many things in common, And every time we've said, oh, we'll be there, like for an hour or something, it's ended up being the entire day. And then we've still got I'm still planning the August thing in Wolverhampton, where he said that he'll give us his entire field. So it's a camping site anyway. So basically it would mean you can either come for the day and go home, or you can come for the day and stay overnight. And it'd be a minimum cost. It'd be less than probably about 25 quid for the entire 24 hours. We can have a campfire, he said, you know, and we'll just stay over and anyone who wants to go off and research can go off and research. And there's been an actual cryptid sighting on the farm where we'd be staying. So there's a bit for everybody. There's it's an ancient castle. Castle gates are still there either side. So whatever you're into, there's been lots of UFO reports in that area. I'm sure we'll have a really good day and a good night. So yeah, that's still on. I know, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, aren't I? There's been a number of reports in the Forest of Dean, and I've been compiling them together. So I've got them all in one document. So if I remember after this, I will send it over to you, because I've not put them all out yet. But if I forget, just remind me, just WhatsApp me or send me a text and remind me, and I'll pop it over to you. Because there's definitely something going on down there, isn't there? They can keep getting pushed to that area. And the reports are coming in from there now, and that's usually a good sign. Who knows? That's normally a good sign, when reports start coming in from one area, and you're like, right, that's an area that I need to be concentrating on now. But I've not really done much this week, so the weather's been that bad that me pain's been, in all honesty, for the last 3 weeks I've not really done much. Just waiting for this bad weather to pass, and then I'll probably be better. When it's damp, it's crap, because I can't get out in case I slip, and when it's cold, it drives me bones mad. So I have to spend a lot of time just stuck in my bed, so I've not really been able to do much. But I have been working on the other stuff. So I've been working on my hypnotherapy stuff, because I found that it helps me at night with my pain. I can kind of relax myself down a bit better till the painkillers kick in. So I've been trying to do more of a balance. So lots of people I've got so many people helping me now. That's been fantastic. I've been able to like ferry stuff out, and that brings me to what Constance is saying. Now we've got people now, Constance, in the USA. I think off the top of my head, I think there's more than 10. I know, because they joined last week. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. I put my email up for you because I can copy and paste it, and I'll put my voice on. What I'll do is, when it's in the USA, obviously I can't post out your membership papers, but if you've got access to a printer, I can just send them to you and you can print them out. That's absolutely fine. And then you get exclusive podcasts, so you get any sighting reports that come in that month, and I send them out once a month. So it will probably be 29th of December when this month's come out. So I send the English ones to the English, and the Canadian and American ones over to the Canadian and Americans, so that you get reports that are in your area, or at least in the USA. Because when I started it in the UK, there was only 5 of us on it, and there's got to be 40 odd of us now, and I think it's going to do that for other people across the world, because we've got 2 in France, where we didn't have anybody in France. Now we've got 2, and that seems a very small amount, but it will grow, and as people hear more, because it doesn't cost anything. We don't charge you every week or anything like that. If I post like your paperwork out, all I charge you for is the paperwork and posting out the stamp and the envelope. That's it. I don't make any profit on it or anything like that. And if people are prepared to just print it out, then we just do it for free. But it puts you on a private map, and the reason I keep it private is because I don't want any trolls, and I don't want any time wasters, and there are some really decent researchers on there, and everybody has a contact email and are happy to be contacted. So it enables people in the same area or in the same country to get in touch. So I'm more than happy to put anybody from any country anywhere in the world on that map, because I think eventually it will work like the cryptid sighting maps, and I think there must be, I think that's How many have we got on there now? Probably about 800, 900 reports on that map, and I started out with 3. So I would imagine in probably 12 months we'll have somebody in every state, which is what I'm hoping for. And it's Constance, it's brought up something that's been really interesting for me, because when a lady joined, she joined from Bainbridge Island, which is just off on the Puget Sound. So what I do is when people join, I go and see what reports I can find in the Puget Sound. So I think, right, well, if she's from that area, I'll go and see. And she was from Bainbridge Island. So I thought, I'll go and have a look and see if I can find anything on Bainbridge Island. And I found 27 reports that had never really made it into the mainstream, but they were sat there on old sites and people had not really picked up on them. So I was able to send over to her, because it was just a matter of copying and pasting them onto a document, and then I sent her the document. So she said now she's going to go and try and interview some of those witnesses, because some of the reports were recent, some are from the 70s, 80s, 90s, up to today. So with it being a small island, I think she recognised some of the places they were speaking about. And she said, I'm going to see if I can get in touch with anyone and see if I can find out any more reports that we haven't got. So I'm hoping I can do that for everybody across the world, because I think it took me to find those 27 reports took less than 2 hours, and it's just a matter of don't hit the first 20 sites on Google. You know, when it comes up at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, go right the way back. So you put it into date order and you go right the way back to the 80s, and it'll flush up reports that have never really made it onto any of the sites. And then you just then that's it. You found your site, and so you email the site and you say, is there any chance you've still got the contact details for this witness? If not, can you send them my contact details in the hope that they'll get in touch with me? Good night, Maureen, sweetheart. I'm probably going to go myself in a sec, actually. I get Mark to get my pyjamas on and everything. But yeah, I hope I've not whittled on from too long and drove you all absolutely crackers. Yeah. And what we on to? Tomorrow's Boxing Day, isn't it, in the UK? So I'm probably going to go and visit my mum tomorrow, and do that, because she's just had a knee replaced, so she's not feeling up to it. So I'm going to go and visit my mum tomorrow, I think, and have some time off, and then probably chill with Mark and watch a film or something. So I think lots of people are hanging up now and they're off to bed. Suzette, I hope you have a fantastic time. I hope the universe brings rain and cool breezes. Yeah. Stay safe. Night, Rick. I'm probably not going to be able to name all these as they're going past, because I'm not going to be able to see them. But thank you to every single person that took the time to tune in. It's been absolutely wonderful. And you make my month with these, because it's the only time I get to really chat to anybody, in all honesty, outside of my family. So until next time, thank you all very much. Good night. Merry Christmas, everyone.